In the small, remote village of Oluchi, nestled in the heart of Africa, lived a woman named Nneka. Nneka was known throughout the village not for her charm or beauty, but for her plain appearance in tattered clothes. She lived in a small, dilapidated hut on the outskirts of the village, struggling daily to make ends meet. The villagers were not kind to Nneka. They mocked her appearance and her poverty, whispering behind her back and sometimes even to her face. The children laughed and called her names, and the adults ignored her, considering her beneath their notice. Nneka bore these humiliations with a quiet dignity, her head always held high despite the constant ridicule. Despite the widespread scorn, there were a few who saw Nneka for who she truly was, a hard-working, kind-hearted woman. Mama Jola, an elderly woman who lived nearby, often invited Nneka for meals and offered her old clothes. A young teacher named Ade stood up for her whenever he heard the children mocking her. And then there was Amina, a widow with 3 children, who shared her meager resources with Nneka, knowing the pain of being an outcast. One evening, as Nneka sat by the river pondering her life, she noticed how many villagers discarded the abundant shea nuts that fell from the trees. An idea sparked in her mind. She remembered her grandmother's recipe for making shea butter, a valuable product that could be used for cooking and skincare. Nneka decided to collect these nuts and try her hand at making shea butter. Nneka's mornings began before dawn. She would wake up and prepare herself for the day's work with a simple meal of maize porridge. Her home, though still modest, had a new sense of purpose. She set out with a woven basket to collect shea nuts from the trees around the village. The villagers continued to mock her as they saw her toiling away, bent over in the early morning light, but Nneka remained undeterred. Collecting the shea nuts was only the beginning. Nneka would bring the heavy baskets back to her hut, where she began the laborious process of turning them into shea butter. She boiled the nuts, ground them into a paste, and then churned and purified the mixture. It was exhausting work, often requiring her to stay up late into the night. Her hands became calloused, and her muscles ached, but she pressed on with determination. When she finally had enough shea butter, Nneka prepared for her first trip to the town market. She packed her products into neat, hand-sewn cloth bags and borrowed a cart from Mama Jola to transport them. The journey to the market was long and dusty, but Nneka felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This was her chance to change her life. At the market, Nneka set up her small stall among the bustling vendors. She displayed her shea butter with pride, hoping to attract customers. At first, people were skeptical. They knew Nneka as the poor woman from Oluchi, and some openly doubted the quality of her products. However, a few curious customers decided to give it a try. To their surprise, the shea butter was of exceptional quality, rich and smooth. Word spread quickly. More and more people came to Nneka's stall, eager to buy her shea butter. By the end of the day, she had sold out completely. The coins in her hand felt like a dream come true, and she returned to Oluchi with a sense of accomplishment and hope. With the money she earned, Nneka invested in more supplies and improved her production process. She bought better equipment and hired a few local women to help her. These were women who, like her, had been marginalized by the village. Together, they increased their production capacity, and Nneka's small business began to flourish. The villagers watched in amazement as Nneka's success grew. She started to dress better and invested in renovating her hut. It was no longer just a shelter but a proper home. The ridicule began to fade, replaced by a mixture of respect and envy. Nneka's business caught the attention of a major distributor in the town. They were impressed by the quality of her shea butter and offered her a contract to supply their stores. This was a turning point for Nneka. The deal provided her with a stable income and the means to further expand her business. She built a small factory on the outskirts of the village, providing employment opportunities for many locals. Nneka trained and employed more women, ensuring they had the skills needed to produce high-quality shea butter. The factory was a beacon of hope and progress in Oluchi. Nneka's transformation was complete. She had risen from poverty to prosperity through her hard work and resilience. With the contract from the major distributor secured, Nneka's business started to generate significant revenue. She could hardly believe the numbers she saw in her account. She purchased new clothes that were not only practical but also made her feel confident and beautiful. The transformation in her appearance was remarkable. Her skin glowed with health, and her hair, once neglected, was now well kept and stylish. As Nneka's business grew, the villagers' perception of her began to change. They could no longer ignore her success. The woman they had once mocked had become one of the most respected and influential people in Oluchi. Many villagers felt a mix of admiration and regret for how they had treated her. They realized that they had underestimated her potential and strength. Nneka never forgot those who had been kind to her when she had nothing. Mama Jola was the first person she helped. Nneka built her a comfortable home with modern amenities, ensuring that the elderly woman would live her remaining years in comfort. Ade, the young teacher who had defended her, received funding to expand the village school, improving education for all the children in Oluchi. Amina, the widow who had shared her meager resources, received a scholarship fund for her 3 children, ensuring they would have opportunities that Amina herself had never had. Nneka's generosity transformed their lives, lifting them out of poverty and providing them with a brighter future. While Nneka helped those who had been kind to her, she also confronted those who had mocked and ridiculed her. Many of them came to her, seeking jobs or financial help, hoping to benefit from her success. Nneka met their requests with polite but firm refusal. She reminded them of how they had treated her during her darkest times, making it clear that she valued integrity and loyalty above all else. This was a difficult but necessary stance to take, as it underscored the importance of treating others with respect regardless of their circumstances. This decision taught the village a lasting lesson about integrity and the consequences of their actions. Nneka's story spread beyond Oluchi, inspiring people in neighboring villages and towns. She was invited to speak at local events, sharing her journey and the lessons she had learned about resilience, hard work, and the importance of kindness. Her business continued to grow, and she invested in community projects, building wells, schools, and clinics, ensuring that her success benefited everyone in Oluchi. Nneka's life had come full circle. She had transformed from a poor, mocked woman into a wealthy, respected entrepreneur. She never let success change her core values. Her heart remained kind, and she continued to uplift those around her. The village of Oluchi was no longer just her home, it was a community that she had helped to transform. Her legacy was one of strength, compassion, and unwavering determination.